right, Monday, January 13th, another episode of MMA Engaged. I'm Aaron. That's Dave. How's it going, man?
Pleased to be here. Thank you for having me.
Nice. So it's been a while since we've done one of these. How have you been, man? How was your New Year's?
Good. I didn't do anything like normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really celebrate holidays anymore.
Yeah, I don't do a whole
There's
lot.
I mean, there's no reason to, really.
it's an optimistic approach to life.
Yeah, I don't have the money for it, or the time.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, was 2019 good? 2020 going to be any better? Do you?
I mean, was 2019 good? I would say that no, not really. There's a lot of shit happening right now that is kind of bothering me. But I don't know. We'll see. 2020 might be a lot better.
It's the year of perfect vision, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's supposed to be able to see things clearly.
Yeah, and this April it's going to be 420 all month.
Fair enough.
Not that it matters.
Yeah, I mean, it matters to some people. Yeah, it's definitely going to matter. All right, man. Well, let's get right into this. We have a huge return this coming week. What, we're 5 days out from UFC 246 with Conor McGregor making his return against Cowboy Cerrone. Also have Holly Holm and Raquel Pennington on the card, Anthony Pettis and Diego Ferreira, and then Maycee Barber and Roxanne Modafferi, which I know we're both kind of looking forward to.
Yeah, I like Maycee a lot. I like to watch her fight, and I think this is a good step up.
Yeah,
in opposition for her. It's going to test her. I still think. I don't know if you want to start getting into fight predictions.
No, man.
Or not.
Right away. I want to point out that a couple months ago we were sitting around kind of bullshitting, talking about Maycee Barber and where her career was going to go, and we both kind of said like a perfect matchup to find out would be Roxanne Modafferi.
Yeah.
And then a couple of weeks later they announced the fight, and I think it's perfect. It's the exact level of competition she needs because Roxanne is an old, crafty veteran who is super durable and tough.
Yeah, she's got a good chin. Maycee throws from the hip, man. She's so strong and she's so powerful. I kind of see it lasting about 45 seconds, maybe. Yeah. I think Maycee's going to push her up against the fence and do what she did last time against the pink hair girl. I can't remember what her name was.
It slips me.
I think if they get on the ground, Roxanne has a very good chance. But Maycee's so strong, and I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, that's probably a fair prediction. I'm definitely taking Maycee Barber. I think the fight goes a little bit longer than you do, but I think Maycee Barber gets it done. I think she might end up having to grind out a decision, but I think it'll be a dominating 37-20 or 30-27 kind of.
Well, I wouldn't mind seeing her drug into deep water.
Yeah, she needs to be. You kind of test it and see.
Yeah,
I agree. Let's say she gets a good win here. Where do you see her going next? Too early for a title still, right?
Well, she says she wants to be the youngest champion.
The youngest champ ever?
Yeah, so I think she might have one fight and then maybe the championship.
Yeah, one more after
I don't know what she's ranked right now. She ranked, what, 5th or something in the division?
I don't know. I didn't check the rankings before this.
I don't know.
I've been caught up in the Conor, the Conor Express.
Yeah, I just don't know enough. I don't know. I'm more of a casual fan than a diehard. I know everything about them. Type fan.
It'll be a great fight. It'll be fun, but I think Maycee takes it pretty handedly, which sucks because I like Roxanne a lot. I think she's fun. Like I said, she's a vet. She's super tough.
She probably has 3 times the fights that Maycee has.
Oh, I would
maybe
say
4 times.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. She's been doing it for a long time. I've always liked her because she kind of reminds me of like. Your school librarian, or, the chick working in the office, and she could beat the shit out of basically everybody. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, she does kind of seem like that. It's it's a little emasculating to think
yeah.
that if I saw her on the street,
that's what I like.
And I was like, hey, bitch, you know, I don't talk like that, but if I did, and she could whip my ass.
Well, she would whip your ass. Yeah, she absolutely would.
Yeah,
absolutely. So moving on, we're going to kind of work backwards here. The Holly Holm Raquel Pennington fight. This to me is, man, I hate to say it, but I feel like Holly Holm's been on this kind of win one lose one streak for a while now. I think we're a far cry away from the days of knocking out Ronda Rousey. And long story short of it, if she doesn't have a good showing, it might be time to consider stepping away. In my opinion,
I don't know how old she is. I think she's about mid-30s, and she doesn't seem like punch drunk.
No, I don't think that at all.
To me, I think she can still compete. Even if she loses, but I think she's a better boxer than Raquel. But that doesn't
I'm
always
looking
mean...
at it from. This is what I'm looking at for. I guess I should rephrase that. She's fought for a title a few times, and the people that are holding belts, and by the people I mean Amanda Nunes, pretty much, and Valentina Shevchenko. I mean, she's had her shots. I just don't see either one of them losing the belt anytime soon. And you know, so if she loses this fight, you know, she's at least 2 or 3 fights away from getting back to either one of them. And because she's lost to both of them already, she's got to win like 5 in a row to even make a claim to fight them again. You know, it just wouldn't make sense to me. And then what are you doing? You know, Holly Holm doesn't seem like a gatekeeper to me. She's not the kind of person that just wants to sit around and, you know, stop other people from going to fight for a title.
Yeah, but she does seem like a competitor and a fighter, and
sure.
I'm not sure that having the belt would be great. Being the champ would be great.
Money, yeah, it's a big part of it.
But she's going to, I think,
and she's
going to get paid, and
you know, she's been the champ before. She's former champ.
No, not at the UFC, right?
Yeah, she knocked out Ronda Rousey.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm dumb. Yeah,
she won the belt there.
Yeah, so she's already in the history books.
Yeah. And I think she'll end up being a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
For the UFC.
But I see her around for another 5 years. Yeah. I don't know if Dana White will keep her around in the UFC for another 5 years, but I think she's talented. She's still fresh.
Yeah. I love watching her fight. And I think she brings it every time. I start looking at fighters when they've kind of been doing this for a while as, you know, if you're not moving forward, why are you taking the damage? You know, why are you taking over and over and over again, especially when you get in your 30s? You know, we've seen her have some kind of rough losses. You know, I just don't want to see her. I hate seeing fighters take unnecessary damage. And I feel like that she might be, and I could be dead wrong. You know, she may come out and starch Raquel, and then, you know, I got to eat crow and back off of it. But I got a feeling Raquel takes this one. And I think she's going to grind out a decision win as well.
I don't know. I kind of want to go with Holly on this one.
That's not a bad.
She's standing up. Holly is going to put it all over. It goes to the ground. Holly's not bad on the ground either.
Yeah.
If it grinds out, the longer the fight goes, I think Holly will be in worse shape than Raquel.
Yeah.
I don't know where that's coming from in my brain, but it's coming from. But it's coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
Probably the bong resin is talking.
You've been what? I mean, you're almost a month now.
At least. Yeah.
Nice, man. Nice. Save it up for 420, huh? You're gonna wait.
Well, yeah, it's a whole month. It's a whole month of just being stoned. No.
Nice.
I mean, I wish if I could afford it.
Right. All right, man. Well, so you're taking Holly Holm?
Yeah. I'll take Holly, and I don't. It's either Holly Holm by TKO or Raquel by submission.
Ooh, you're taking a finish either way.
Yeah.
One or the other, huh?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna go 3. I'll take Holly in second TKO.
Wow. I'm gonna take Raquel by decision. I think she gets it done. I feel like it might be her time to at least challenge and make a run. I feel like she's always had the pieces. She's just never quite put it together totally. And I feel like this might be her time. So. All right, man. So without further ado, it's really what everybody's talking about. I'm surprised anybody even knows who else is fighting on this card at this point. There is so much to unpack here. There's no way we're going to do it justice and get it all covered. But Conor McGregor makes his return to the octagon after a long hiatus and an even longer time without a win. I think his last win was 2016.
Well, I think his last win was that old Irish guy that he punched in the face.
That's fair. Yeah.
But that guy took it like a champ.
Man, I'm just saying, if that's any indication, Cowboy might be all right.
Yeah. His left isn't what it used to be because that old man took it and just kind of brushed it off.
So a few things before we start getting into predictions and breaking the fight down and all of that. I kind of wanted to touch on a few things. First and foremost, and I'm going to go back and forth a little bit here. What happens if Conor McGregor loses this fight? What's it mean for him, and what's it mean for the UFC?
I don't think it means as much as what other people think it means. Conor has a good mouth. He talks really well. He can hype up fights. No matter who he fights, it's going to be a money fight. So he's going to get good people, whether it be Jorge Masvidal after this or Khabib or Ferguson.
So you think then if he loses now,
if he loses, he's not going to be able to fight for the title.
That's what I'm saying. Is like let's assume what happens if Conor McGregor loses this fight? Where do you see his career going from here? What do you think happens?
I think if Conor,
there's two things there. If it's a close fight and he loses a decision, maybe not a lot.
Well, they could run it back.
Let's say he gets starched. Let's say third round he gets submitted. Choke or a
head kick
bar,
or something.
A head kick, anything like that. But he just overall doesn't look good. He fades in the third. It's the same thing we've kind of seen before a few times. What do you think happened? Where do we go from here?
I think no matter what happens, he's probably going to fight Jorge Masvidal.
You think next, no matter what he fights?
Yeah.
Even if he loses?
Yeah, because Masvidal wants it. Because, again, it's a money fight. And I don't think his bad motherfucker belt will be on the line like Conor wants it to be. But if it is, that's very interesting to me. And who doesn't want to watch that fight?
No, I definitely would love to watch the fight. I think Masvidal starches him. I don't know. We haven't seen. I think Dana White was right. He's way too big. And seeing what he did to Nate.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, and a lot of people didn't give Masvidal the appropriate credit in that fight, but man, Jorge Masvidal did to Nate what no one has really been able to do to Nate. He absolutely, he beat him.
Well, he dominated for 3 rounds, for sure.
He busted him up pretty bad. He absolutely looked like he was winning. At the end of that fight, most Nate Diaz fights, at the end of it, Nate's busted and bloodied up, so's the other guy. And generally Nate comes out with the win or a close loss and a decision. At the end of that fight, Masvidal barely looked like he'd been in a scrap. He really didn't look like he'd been, he'd been in a fight, but nothing that bad.
No, he just had minor scrapes.
Right, and Nate was busted up bad. People don't do that to Nate Diaz, and to see Masvidal.
Well, everybody does that to Nate Diaz.
I'm saying people don't do that.
You can just look at Nate Diaz wrong, and he'll start bleeding out of his eyes.
But usually you're cut up and busted up too, and Masvidal wasn't. That was pretty impressive to me. I just think that guy's on a different level, and I think it's gonna be one of those things with Conor. Like if that all played out that way, man, careful what you wish for, because that's a big bite. But
I think the bigger question is what happens to Cowboy either way.
Well, and so that was going to be my next part of this. So I think my thing is I think if Conor loses this fight and he loses it in spectacular fashion, I kind of think that, and I'm touching on something that a few others have talked about as well. This isn't new information. I'm not coming up with it on my own, but I kind of feel like he's just money fights from here on out. I feel like they'll bring him in for one-offs. It'll be, kind of your Nate. They'll hurry and run that Nate Diaz trilogy back. They're gonna. It's gonna feel like the wind is gone. That the money train, so to speak, is running out, and I think they'll run the Nate trilogy back, the Nate Diaz trilogy quickly because they know they got to cash in. I'm saying if Conor loses, they'll have to run that back quick to cash in quick. And now this is a stretch, but I got a feeling if Conor McGregor loses badly, you might see McGregor versus Mayweather before the end of the year.
Again?
Yeah. I just, the little bit of rumblings I've heard, though, I just got a feeling that if McGregor goes down this weekend, everybody's going to panic that the money grab is almost over, and they're going to try to cash in all chips as fast as they can. And whether that's going to be the Diaz trilogy, or maybe they try to make the Masvidal thing happen, but I still think that they try to make some sort of, maybe even, it's going to be out there a little bit, but remember where you heard it, maybe even Manny Pacquiao. I think something crazy like that happens towards the end of the year for McGregor if he loses this fight in spectacular fashion. Now, if it's a close loss, decision, maybe not. And if he starches Donald, man, all bets are off. If he comes out and blows him away and blows Donald Cerrone away,
like he did with Jose Aldo.
And Eddie Alvarez, and man, if that happens, wow. You're talking about, then that's when I think the Masvidal fight makes sense.
Well, that's where this fight gets interesting. Does Conor have the power to knock Cowboy out at 175?
170.
170, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not. No. We don't have a good enough sample size to know that for sure. Mm-hmm. And nobody really knocks out Nate Diaz. So it's not fair. Conor's only 2 fights at 170 are Nate Diaz twice. Now the second fight, he was able to knock Nate down a couple of times. But Nate's been knocked down like that a few times before. He certainly wasn't out or stunned that bad.
And the fight could have went either way, really.
Yeah, it really could have. And if you look at it, this is kind of the way I'm looking at things. At 145, Conor McGregor has devastating you go to sleep power with the left hand. Now at 155, he had great power, but it was accumulation with Eddie Alvarez. It's not like he just came out and starched Eddie in one punch like he did Jose Aldo and like he had other guys at 145. He kind of had to accumulate that over a few punches and a couple of combinations, and then wore him down and knocked him out. TKO'd him eventually. And then at 170, he wasn't able to put Nate away. Now Nate has an iron chin, but I'm just kind of looking at that. And then there's something else that people have forgotten. A year ago, not even, Conor McGregor had some left hand issues. He had his left hand in a cast. They were talking about surgery. He had hurt it in a training, or while he was training and fighting and sparring. And, for a couple of weeks it was casted up. And this was all over Instagram and stuff, and I think a lot of people have forgotten that and haven't talked about it. Could be nothing. The guy did blow out an ACL early in his career, and it never affected him. He never worried about it. But when you're one trick, and now I get he sets up everything for that one trick, and he's really good at a lot of different things, but when your one trick is that, and you've injured it within the last year, I don't know, man. I start to second guess it. And I know you've heard, I've been telling you for a while that I felt like Donald Cerrone was going to win this, and these are all the reasons why I'm kind of thinking it leading up to it. I don't know.
Well, Conor looks great. He looks like he's in the best shape I've ever seen him in. Just from pictures.
He does, man. Yeah, he does. He looks great.
I hear from his sparring partners that he's making all of them quit.
Yeah.
But that's probably just a rumor coming out of the camp.
I'm sure to some extent that's probably true too. Those guys still have pride.
Yeah.
And to be fair for Conor, I watched the interview he had with Ariel Helwani earlier today, and man, he looks like a different guy. He was calm, he was collected, he wasn't being really, really arrogant. He was almost polite. He was. Yeah, it was kind of weird. He didn't actually call a shot.
He's like, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, he said he was like, I'm definitely going to knock him out, but I'm prepared for everything, which was a weird to hear Conor say. He definitely seems like he's reinvigorated and back, but I don't know, man. When guys are doing that and saying that, I it's a red flag for me. And when your coach is coming out ahead of everything and talking about what a great camp you're having and it's the greatest camp ever, I think if you really were having the greatest camp you've ever had, why would you tell anybody? You wouldn't, like, let them all be surprised. The fight's happening either way. Why are you out there saying things? And I don't know, man. I think, and I'm probably overanalyzing it because I want Cowboy to win.
Why do you want Cowboy to win?
Man, I'm a huge fan. I've loved, and I think he was insulted and it was disrespectful to run a bad motherfucker belt and his name not even be mentioned. Look, at the very least, and I like The Rock, but you could have had Donald Cerrone put the fucking belt on him or something. Well,
there could have been a bad motherfucker tournament.
Yeah, something, man. How do you not, like, that dude, his ranch for the last umpteen years where he has everybody come out and trade with him, Joe Schilling and all these other guys and these veterans, it's called the BMF Ranch. Like, the dude snowboards and skis and barefoot skis and probably wrestles bulls and everything. Like, how's that? And then goes and fights 19 times a year. He's got basically every record that means anything in the UFC. Head kick knockouts, most finishes, most fights, most bonuses. He has $1.5 or $1.4 million in bonuses from the UFC.
Yeah, he puts on a good show.
How is that? And you're not going to include him in the bad motherfucker. So
I didn't have any. I
it's you, man. It's you. You did it. I'm just saying. I think
Robbie Lawler deserved it
for sure. Absolutely
belt as well.
Yeah, I mean, nobody redefined their career and had a second coming, so to speak, as much as Robbie Lawler. Maybe Jorge Masvidal. We'll see how he plays it all out. But man, Robbie came back and everybody thought he was done and came back and made a run and got the title. And no, I agree.
He got lucky with Ben. I think I was a huge Ben Askren fan until I watched him fight Damian Maia, and with him, his stand up was I thought he was joking.
Yeah,
for the first 30 seconds,
it was pretty difficult to watch. Yeah,
and I thought when it went to the ground, he's such a good wrestler. I thought there would be more of a give and take.
Yeah, I mean, I think that part of it speaks to how great Damian Maia is. I mean, it's widely known across most MMA circles that, I mean, Damian Maia is probably the best, grappler.
Yeah,
quote unquote in MMA, man. He's
for BJJ for sure.
Well, I think they're saying overall on the ground, his wrestling is incredibly overshadowed by his jiu-jitsu, but his wrestling's really, really high level as well. It had to be. He had, before, early in his career, Damian Maia would pull guard all the time to try to get it to the ground, and guys just wouldn't go down. They just wouldn't go down with him. They learned. So he had to learn how to wrestle, and it took him years, but his wrestling is really on point as well. Anyway, we're getting off topic. I just think that, I think Donald's been disrespected, and I think that's why you're not hearing a whole lot from him. Now, Kevin, you're not hearing a whole lot from Conor either. You're not making a big deal of it, but I think a lot of people expect Donald to come out and do what Donald does, which is kind of it's just another fight. I'm hoping, probably more than I think, that this means something to him, and he understands the gravity of this, and that if he is able to come out and put on a performance and beat Conor McGregor, what it will do for his brand and his legacy, and really catapult him into the next level of his career. And I don't mean necessarily just MMA, because I think he's at the tail end of his MMA career, but I think it's going to set him up for so many more things. And the BMF Ranch and the different sponsorships he's going to get. And he's going to keep being a bad motherfucker and all these. I just think it'll go a long way. So yeah, I think he's disrespecting. He's going to be real serious about this fight. So I'm now I'll get off Donald's dick for a little bit. And
out of Cowboy's last 5 fights, how many times has it either been stopped for TKOs or where he just got knocked out?
So he got so against Tony.
I think his chin is suspect now.
I feel like a lot of people think that, and I'm not saying it's not. I mean, the problem with Donald is when he disengages straight up and away, and that's not good for being as tall and lanky as he is.
It's a good way to get caught.
The other problem is that he is a very this is going to sound horrible, but he's a very rudimentary fighter when he throws his right hand. There's nothing spectacular about the way he sets it up. And when you're fighting such a special striker in Conor McGregor, who has such an incredible left hand.
Oh, and he's great. His counters are as good as anybody in the game.
And that's the problem, is that when
you'll see that right coming.
When you're throwing such a simple right, you're going to get, and Donald will. I mean, that's the thing. Make no mistake about it. Donald is going to get hit with that left, and that's really where this fight takes place in 2 places. I wish it was 3, but I just don't think. I think Donald has too big an ego, and his balls are too big for him to come out and shoot for a double right away. Or I don't think he's going to come out and circle and avoid to frustrate Conor in order to get it to the ground. I wish he would, because that's his key to victory. And I actually believe that Donald Cerrone is going to decide whether or not he wins this fight. Because if he came out, played possum, got it to the ground, he absolutely would dominate Conor. I don't think he's going to do that. So the fight's going to take place in one of 2 places. It's going to be, does Donald's chin hold up when it gets hit? Because it's going to get hit. And if it does Conor McGregor's gas tank hold up into the 3rd and 4th and 5th round? I mean, those are the 2 things that are going to happen. Because if Donald can get out of the 2nd, then the narrative changes. And it goes now over to, can Conor do something in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th? And that's really where this fight is. It's those 2 places and almost nothing else, in my opinion anyway. And I'm just a fucking idiot on the internet, but that's really what I think. I think the first 2 rounds, Donald has to survive the left because he's going to get hit with it.
Yeah, and this is also in New York, so a doctor stoppage.
No.
Oh, it's not.
No, this one. This is in Vegas. You're thinking of the Tony Ferguson and Khabib fight.
Yeah, that's
which is terrible. That's a terrible place to have that fight.
Because they're gonna bleed.
Yeah,
somebody's gonna bleed.
Oh, for sure.
No, I would hate to see. We can talk about this later, but I would hate to see either Ferguson or Khabib lose the fight because the doctors say that it was a bad cut.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be so frustrating. Anyway, so that's kind of the way I'm breaking down this fight. I think that. I mean, don't be wrong, man. I love Conor too. I think he's awesome, and I believe, up until this interview, I wasn't sure, and I believe he's taking it serious and all that. I don't. And he's been off for a long time, and he hasn't tasted victory in a long time. The last few times he's fought, he dealt with Floyd Mayweather and Khabib, and he got stopped. He got it stopped in both. Now, given it's Floyd, I understand. I get that, but
he pretty much quit in the Khabib fight.
Yeah. I mean, he beat up a bus and he beat up an old man.
Yeah.
He beat up a cell phone. So he has those things going for him. But I don't know, man. I think. Look, 2020 in MMA will be a fucking riot if Conor McGregor comes out and starches Donald Cerrone. It'll be a blast, because then what's next? It'll be awesome. It'll be a great time for all of us, on top of all the other great fights that are coming with John Jones, Dominic Reyes, and then we're still trying to figure out the Stipe and DC fight, and what's Jorge Masvidal going to do, Tony Ferguson and Khabib, and there's so many great fights. And then on top of that, if you've got Conor McGregor back taking over the world, then it'll be amazing. I don't know, man. I think it's over. I think the McGregor hype is done. And because he's at 170, if he was fighting back at 155, if this was at 155, I would be all over Conor to win, for sure. Because I don't think Donald looks very good at 155, especially as he's getting older. Mm-hmm. He just doesn't. And
it's harder to cut.
Yeah, for sure.
You get older. Yeah.
So I think that it just doesn't. I think we're done. I think this is going to be one of those things where, careful what you wish for. Everybody's talking about this as your comeback fight, and it was a gimme, and and they're like, oh, well, it's Donald. It's not that big.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's a gimme at all.
I mean, man, everybody's just basically written Donald Cerrone off. It's crazy to me. I get it. I understand that he has had some rough losses. But look, Tony Ferguson was beating the brakes off of him. But the doctor stopped it because his eye swelled, because he blew his nose out. Mm-hmm. Now, the fight before that with, I think it was RDA. I forget who the fight before that was.
Gaethje?
I think it was Gaethje. I think Gaethje did TKO him. And then before that, he'd won 3. And one of those was Ally Aquinta, who is no joke. Mm-hmm. I mean, Al is no joke. Al went the full 5 with Khabib. And then Donald stopped. I think he stopped him in the 4th or the 5th. But that was a great fight. Donald looked great in that fight. And then before that, he had an amazing fight with, I can't remember his name. I can't remember. But he had that devastating combination. It's real sick. You can see it all over the internet. It's pretty nasty. I don't get it. In the last couple of years, Donald hasn't been getting knocked out by everybody or by a bunch of flukes. Justin Gaethje and Tony Ferguson. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about 2 of the baddest dudes at 155.
Well, you could put Conor in that. Well, maybe not now. We don't know. It's like you said, he hasn't fought in a really long time.
Yeah.
I see him coming in, and if he comes in and he fights like he fought Eddie Alvarez,
then it's lights out.
Yeah, then I think.
I mean, he probably beat up Junior Dos Santos if he comes in and fight like he fought Eddie.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be the greatest performance I've seen inside a cage. That was unreal.
Yeah, or the Jose Aldo fight. If that Conor shows up, then
that's hard, man, because it was 145. Mm-hmm. I don't think that power translates.
Well, that's the question.
Yeah, you're right. That's for sure. Yeah, it is. So then, I mentioned the first part of if Conor lost and what that meant.
If Conor loses, he has all of Ireland backing him.
Yeah, I don't think he goes away. I don't think he retires or anything like that.
I think he still gets good fights.
I think he gets good fights, but I think they're just money fun fights. I think any talk of titles is gone. If he loses spectacularly to Donald, I just think that we're going to back away from the title contentions. We're going to have one-offs. We're going to have big money fights. Maybe.
Well, he's not going to be a champ at 170.
You might want to tell him that. I think he thinks he's going to be.
I like Conor, but I don't see that happening. It could. I mean, he has a puncher's chance anytime you get in there. But that's not the right weight class for him.
No, 155 is where he needs to be fighting for sure. And at 155, I think there's a lot of fun matchups with him. So we'll go this route then. So I asked about Conor and losing. So let me ask you, what happens then? What if Donald Cerrone wins? What happens to Donald Cerrone, and what happens to the UFC and those two together? If Donald Cerrone comes out and does, let's say, beats Conor in the 3rd with a head kick,
I would like to see him retire. I think that
right
would be
there on the spot.
Yeah,
just retire.
Yeah,
you wouldn't like to see him
take his gloves off, put him in the middle of the ring, and be like, "I told you guys," and fucking walk out.
What about? I mean, that would be epic. That would. I hadn't thought of that. That'd be awesome. Yeah, just to be like, I got what I wanted to get, and
I told you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. What if? I can't get past that now. That'd be pretty awesome. I'll just go a step further than that, but I'll put that at the end of it still. What if at the end, he makes a call out for Jorge Masvidal for the BMF title? Hey,
Yeah.
I just got rid of him. I want that belt. It goes perfect with my ranch. It's going to be my last fight. I want one more, and that's what I want. And then try to get Masvidal in for kind of a curtain call of the fight.
Of course, Masvidal will take the fight. I don't know that he'll give up the belt.
You don't think? I think if Cerrone starched him, and knowing what an old school legend Cerrone is, it could entice Masvidal to put up the belt for like, yeah, man, you're gonna retire. One last curtain call kind of fight.
And maybe they might make another belt,
and then
a BMF too.
Yeah, and then put that on the line, and then do that for the 4th of July weekend, the All-American weekend. Cowboy going out, his last fight ever for the BMF title with Jorge Masvidal. I think that'd be awesome, man. Make that a co-main event. With someone else.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to retire because
no,
I don't.
But I just threw the retirement thing on there because you brought it up, and I thought it was awesome. It was clever.
It would be sweet.
Yeah, it would be awesome. It'd be so amazing. No, I don't think he'll retire. I think that he'll stick around, and his stock will raise. But it's not like he's going to fight for a title. He's definitely not fighting for the 170 belt. He's not going to fight for the 155 belt or anything like that.
No, that dude's going to fight until he can't say his name anymore.
Yeah, probably. Well, the only thing that I think might stop him with that is he's got a kid, but I think you're right.
But he's a fighter. I mean,
through and through.
If he's not going to fight in the UFC, he's going to fight at his bar down the road.
That's a good point. Yeah. All right, so let's go the opposite way. Where do we go from? Let's say Conor McGregor comes out, round 1, first minute and a half, KO's walk-off KO, knocks Donald Cerrone out. What happens next? Where does Conor go from there? Who's he call out next? Where does he go? What's the fight? What's the move?
Well, the fight, it's the Khabib Ferguson winner. That's what Dana said.
You think he waits? Well, I mean, Dana said Dana said a lot.
Yeah.
Over time, Conor has made it pretty clear he wants Jorge Masvidal, but that could be all smoke and mirrors too. To try to He also keeps saying Khabib's scared of him, and because Khabib keeps saying he won't fight him. Personally, I kind of don't want to see the Khabib-Conor rematch. I don't think anything's going to change necessarily. It might rework itself a bit, but Conor. Now this could all change. I could see a ground game from Conor this weekend, and I'm like, oh shit, somebody's been busy. But from what I've seen, there was nothing to indicate to me that Conor's going to shut down Khabib for 5 rounds. You're just not going to, and Khabib's never going to stop. Even more than that, Khabib actually knocked Conor down with a punch.
Well, I don't know. I have seen improvement from Conor, especially between the first Nate Diaz fight and the second Nate Diaz fight. It was like 2 different people coming in.
Yeah, he definitely knows how to take what he learned and adapt.
Yeah, he got his ass whipped. I mean, he got beat up until he got his face squeezed, and he gave up.
For sure.
But I think he's a smart guy. He's a smart fighter. He has good coaches. I don't know. It's hard to say because every fight I've seen Khabib, all he does, he puts you down, puts you on the back against the cage, and just mauls you like a bear.
Yeah, he just mauls you. It just is relentless. I think, and I'm not going to get into the Tony and Khabib fight. I will say that one fight that does intrigue me is, and I don't know that it's going to shape up that we can get it, is Tony and Conor. That's a fight that I think, man, on paper, just wow. Tony is so creative with his striking and the way he moves in and out, and he can take a shot pretty well, but he does get hit. And Conor, man, just, again, has explosive power. I just think that would be a great fight. But I don't know that we're going to get it. I don't think everything's going to align enough for us to get that fight, but that would be wonderful. So, but think of this. Conor wins and beats Cowboy.
I think Gaethje might also be an opponent that goes next.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Let's say, think of it this way. Let's say Conor beats Cowboy. Tony beats Khabib. Okay, so Tony gets the belt. Conor fights Tony and then gets the belt, beats Tony, and now Conor and Khabib rematch, but this time with Conor having the belt. Now you've brought some intrigue into it. Now you've given me a reason to want to see the rematch because it's Khabib coming back for the belt. It's no longer Conor chasing the same thing he did before.
Yeah, Khabib said he only had like 3 fights left.
Khabib says a lot.
Yeah.
Him and Dana White both say a lot, I think. Probably to each other. I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like a guy that bullshits, though.
No, probably not. And all of this could, like you said, Justin Gaethje is absolutely in the mix. He has to be. You can't just name all the things I said and not throw him in there somewhere.
Because I know he wants to fight, too. He wants the Conor fight.
For sure.
But everybody does because it's the money fight.
Right, it's the payday.
Yeah.
It's the red panty night.
Yeah,
it's the red panty night. I don't know. All right, man. So where are we going with this? We're
it all depends. Will Cowboy's chin hold up, and if so, will Conor's
gas tank
hold?
Yeah, man.
Up?
I think those are the only two things. That is where this fight hinges. It's those two things. Rounds 1 and 2, how does Cowboy's chin look? And rounds 3, 4, and 5, how does Conor's gas tank look? And if either one of those things are not up to par, they're gonna pay. They're gonna pay dearly. And the problem is that Donald has no way to fix his. If his chin is compromised, it's compromised. So if he gets knocked out, it's going to be one of those things where, like, okay, well, he got knocked out.
Yeah, we saw it coming. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But if Conor comes out and his gas tank is weak come the 3rd and 4th, 5th round, that's going to be a problem because that is something he could fix. It is something he could be working on because it's been the little bit of the little thing in the armor with him.
Chink.
Yeah, so it'll be an issue if he comes out and gasses in the 3rd. If you gas in the 4th and 5th, yeah, look, man, those championship rounds and stuff. Yeah. But if he's gassing at the end of the 2nd, beginning of the 3rd, that's a problem. That's especially when you're not cutting weight.
And he's also got a lot more muscle now, and the muscle needs oxygen.
Yeah, and he's definitely gotten bigger. He said today that he's like 161 or 162. I don't know if I buy that. I think he weighs a little bit more than that. And he's playing possum. But yeah, he's definitely looking bigger for sure. All right, so give me your breakdown. Give me your predictions, man. Conor versus Cowboy. Where you at?
I think Conor knocks him. Knocks him out, or he TKOs him.
Yeah, I mean,
he finishes him.
You gonna go for a round or just not necessarily?
I think it happens in either the 1st or the 2nd.
Wow.
Yeah, if it goes past 3. That's going to be tough waters for Conor.
Yeah, I agree. We're opposites across the board tonight, huh? I'm going to go Donald Cerrone. I'm going to say 4th round submission. Man, something's saying head kick to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Conor tires and gets a little lackadaisical, and through a combination, you know what? I'm going to say Donald Cerrone, head kick knockout, 4th round. That's my prediction.
It very well could happen.
Yeah, it could. So a couple of things before we wrap this up, and we got to get on here. But who is your fighter of the year 2019, man?
I have 2 that I can't really choose between.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the same as.
I think Masvidal is he had a great year.
Yeah,
but Adesanya also had a great year.
Yeah.
It's between those 2. I would probably say Masvidal is the fighter of the year.
Yeah,
just because I didn't see it coming.
Yeah. I think what leans me initially towards Masvidal is that he had that record knockout, and I think if you're already thinking a guy has a breakout year and kind of fighter of the year, and then he does something like that, it's got to tip the scale. The only thing that brings me back to Israel Adesanya is the absolute war that he went through, and maybe the greatest fight ever with Kelvin Gastelum, and then to come out and just put it on Robert Whittaker.
Yeah.
Then like a boss calls out Yoel Romero when Paulo Costa goes down. I mean, dude, look, you talk about balls of steel.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a fight that might not go Adesanya's way.
It really might not,
because that dude is made of granite.
And that's what I mean. So for you to do that, and it's like, man, I love Masvidal. It's been awesome watching this year, and really either way you go, I think is you just do 1A, 1B.
Yeah, but really, I don't think Whitaker was the same Whitaker that was fighting Romero for those two wars.
No, for sure not. Those things take stuff
out
of you.
And I think his chin is a little compromised now.
So if I'm gonna name off a few champs here. By the way, I would go Israel Adesanya, but against coin flip. Same as it sounds like with you. So I'm going to name a couple of the champs here, and I want you to just tell me yes or no if you think they have their title come into the 2020 year. John Jones, still the lightweight champ? Now, you could give a caveat if you want, like why or whatever, but do you think he's still the lightweight champ?
He'll still be
He'll still have the lightweight champ? No, okay. I think yes as well.
I think it's going to be a tougher fight, though, this fight coming up than people are thinking.
I'm not going to do Stipe and DC because you might not know this. There's little low rumblings and rumors, and maybe people know this or don't. Stipe's having a really hard time getting over an injury, and there's questions of whether he's going to fight anymore. So I don't want to say him because it could be for other reasons. Let's go with Israel Adesanya. You think he has his belt come the end of 2020?
Ooh,
it's tough, huh?
That's
because
the
question. Murderer's row is 185.
Yeah,
it's
the fight with crazy. Romero. If he gets through Romero, who's he going to fight next? It's going to be another killer. Yeah,
I would say if it's after Romero, at least the people waiting in the wings.
And then you have Paulo Costa.
You got Paulo Costa. You've got Darren Till is definitely got to be right there. Kelvin Gastelum is always going to be a fight or two away, considering the war they had.
And you're looking at Adesanya fighting at maybe 190 against Paulo Costa fighting at like 215.
215 might be generous. I think it might be about freaking 280.
Yeah, I mean that dude cuts a ton. I mean he cuts
a
like
bunch
30,
of Mexican supplements and chews them up into
30,
water and drinks them.
He cuts like 30 pounds.
Yeah.
But then I think that's the whole reason he was able to stay in there with Romero.
Oh yeah, he's just huge. All right, so Israel Adesanya. Shooting from the hip here, man.
Yeah, I'll say yes.
All right,
because I'm
going to say yes as well. Kamaru Usman, 170.
I don't see who can beat him. Maybe Woodley if he comes back.
Yeah, I just feel like there's not a lot.
Yeah, there's not a lot there.
If Masvidal isn't going after him, then you've got Woodley-ish. You've got Robbie-ish. You've got Leon Edwards-ish.
Yeah.
I just feel like and Usman's already beat Edwards.
Edwards isn't the same fighter though now.
No, agreed, totally.
Yeah.
I just feel like you're right. There's not like it's like, man, who really beats him? And I feel like nobody's really coming after him. I think it's going to be 6 months before he fights.
He's probably the boring champ to watch fight.
And what's crazy is he's not really boring.
Well, not if you like wrestling.
Well, look what he did with Colby. I mean, that was amazing.
Oh yeah,
that's different. Yeah, you're right. But I mean, even the Woodley fight, man. I mean, he dominated the shit out of Woodley. But I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
If it wouldn't have been Woodley and he was just doing that to someone, I probably would have been a little more bored.
Mm-hmm.
I was probably not bored because I was blown away that someone was doing that to Tyron Woodley.
I think Tyron Woodley was blown away that someone was doing that to Tyron Woodley.
It's a very good point. All right, 155 is Khabib. Yeah, end of 2020 still has his belt.
If he does, it's going to be well earned.
Yeah, I'm going to say no. Kamaru Usman, I'm going to say still has his belt. Khabib, no. I'm going to say the Eagle falls. The Eagle falls in 2020, and I think he falls. I think he actually has a Ronda Rousey-esque fall from grace. I think he gets beat. He comes back to try to reclaim and gets beat again and stops fighting. That's my prediction for 2020 with Khabib the Eagle Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
145. Now we're getting into the fun stuff. Alexander Volkanovski. Remember him?
Volkanovski, yeah.
There you go.
Volkanovski.
Yeah.
Volkanovski.
How do you feel about him at the end of 2020?
I didn't really know who he was coming into this season, but the dude can fight. He's got power.
Man, those guys down at City Kickboxing are just, I mean, you figure him, Israel Adesanya, and then Dan Hooker, who's getting ready to headline against Paul Felder in just the next couple of months. Like, I mean, those guys are putting it on the MMA world right now.
What's his next fight?
Volkanovski?
Yeah.
They haven't officially said, but they definitely were leaning towards the Max rematch. But then Max said, hey, I've got to take some time to heal. But I think Alexander wants to take a little bit of time too. So,
well, Volkanovski, who did he have a little run-in with backstage?
No, that wasn't him. That was Piotr Yarn and
It wasn't Volkanovski?
No, it was
Oh, it doesn't matter then. It's a moot point.
Yeah, it was him and what's the guy's name? Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah.
Those two guys were the ones mouthing back and forth, which will be a great fight when it happens. I mean, it's good to call that out. That'd be amazing. But Cody Garbrandt is going to sleep if that fight happens. So, Alexander, you think?
I don't see if Max comes back. There's a good chance. That's his one opponent right now.
Your guys at 45 are Max Holloway. I feel like I can't think.
Where are you blanking? Because there's not a lot of
but they're good.
They're good. They're good
there
145ers that
they're just not on that level. You're right.
But they're not Max Holloway and they're not.
I'm going to say no, and the only reason I'm saying no is because I'm going to stick to my original prediction. Back in the other video, I'd said that I think Volkanovski wins, and then I said I think they rematch, and in the rematch, Max beats him. So I think that's what happens. I think Max comes back, figures out his mistakes, and figures out how to deal with that crazy game plan that they had, and I think he gets his belt back. I think they basically just volley the belt back and forth with one or two people thrown in the mix just to keep it interesting. But in my opinion, those two guys are the cream of the crop at 145. Nobody else. Not that it matters because I could care less, but I guess we'll talk about Henry Cejudo. Unfortunately, we're out of time. We don't have any time to continue talking about that little.
Cejudo wins as the champ anymore. It's going to be.
He gave up his.
He didn't give it up. He was
stripped.
Yeah.
It's the 130, the 125 belt, right?
Yeah.
So he still has 135, and he got stripped of 125, and then now Joseph Benavidez and somebody are fighting for the 125 belt. I'm certain Joseph Benavidez will take that.
Well, he seems like a better fighter, but then he has to fight Henry when Henry Cejudo comes back, and Cejudo will get his belt back.
The only thing, and you definitely could be right, and as much as I hate Henry Cejudo, I can't stand him at all. I think he's phenomenal. He's an amazing fighter. He was an amazing wrestler.
Well, he's just a shtick.
He's an incredible athlete. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, everything about him. Yeah.
See, I think that's more of like a fun thing.
Well, even before he was doing that, like I don't know, something about him. It's totally unfair. Probably jealousy. I don't know. I just don't care for the guy. But Joseph Benavidez and he fought before, and Benavidez beat him. I think he beat him in a split decision, but Benavidez has a win over him. So it's not a foregone conclusion that he'll beat him, but he probably would. He'd probably come back and beat him. Yeah, man.
What do you think? What do you think? Nunez will lose?
No.
45 or 35?
No, that's why I didn't even bother bringing it up. I mean, I think
What about Shevchenko?
So the only way Shevchenko loses her belt is if Amanda Nunes decides to skip some meals for a month and a half and go down and take 125 too, so she can be the triple champ.
I don't know.
That's in my opinion. That outside of that, I don't think anybody else is going to. Now we'll see. I mean, there are some up and comers. Obviously, we've talked about the Maycee Barbers of the world, things like that. But yeah, man, I just don't see anybody beating Amanda Nunes. It's just not going to happen.
Do you think Joanna
beats Young Jacek?
Yeah.
beats Wei-Ling Zhang.
Yeah.
Wei-Ling Zhang. Is that
Wei-Ling Zhang.
Wei-Ling Zhang. Something like that. No, I think Wei-Ling Zhang puts it on her. I think Young Jacek has some great boxing and some great striking anyway. But I think Wei-Ling can weather that storm, and she's super tough and strong, and I think she'll retain.
Well, Rose is coming back too.
That will be awesome. I would love to see Rose Namajunas back. That would be amazing.
And next year, I think we'll get to see Kayla finally.
Well, and here, I'm glad you brought that up because I have a little something to throw at you, and this is my early predictions for 2020. Everybody's talking about the Clarissa Shields, and she's basically come right out and said, I cannot make 145. I can't. Mm-hmm. So that kind of pulls the Amanda Nunes thing off the thing. Here's what people aren't considering. Clarissa Shields makes 154 to box. Who do we know that's a big name in women's MMA that fights at 155?
Well, a lot of people don't know, but
they're starting to learn who she is.
Yeah, but you will know. You will know.
Yeah, you will. And I'm telling you, man, there's something. And part of me thinks, man, that Dana White is a clever motherfucker. And as much anti-UFC speech as Kayla's been given, I almost think it might be a ruse, man. But
didn't she sign a contract for all of 2020?
I don't know if it's for all of 2020.
No, I'm pretty sure it's up for the whole year.
It might be. But here's the thing. I think Clarissa Shields has
It doesn't mean that
I think she has a couple fights left anyway. So, I mean,
right.
You could be gearing up for 2021. Clarissa Shields? Yeah. Oh, yeah. She dominated this past weekend. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This weekend, weekend before, whenever it was. Yeah, man, there's just, I think, and it may not be in the UFC. I don't know. It could be in the PFL.
Well, I mean, but the UFC and PFL could get together.
Get together for sure. I mean, if Dana's not going to co-promote with Bellator for sure, but PFL, yeah, why not? Yeah, you definitely could. Yeah, man, I think we might see it.
Well, if that happens, Clarissa Shields gets mauled.
End of 2020 or beginning of 20. What I would prefer to see would be sometime mid 2021. I would like to see that fight happen and give Clarissa Shields a good year and a half to really be working on her MMA game to give her a chance. Because like you said, right now, you fight anybody worth a damn in MMA and they're going to destroy you because you're a boxer and you don't have a clue. But if you look, she's 24 and she's a high-level professional athlete who's already dominated a sport. Clearly she can put in the work. Give that lady a year and a half, 2 years to focus on wrestling and counter wrestling. And, she might be legit. And so that would be my thing. If she's going to come into MMA, I want to see her take her time, slow down. If she takes a fight within the next 6 months or even this year, she gets absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, she should not fight Kayla this year.
But think about it. If they started promoting that fight around July or August for sometime first quarter 2021 of those two fighting,
Clarissa gets dropped on her head within the first 10 seconds.
Almost certainly. Yeah. But if you give her a year and a half to at least attempt, if they fought right now, if they fought anytime this year, it'd be bad. It'll be bad regardless, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun. And then you know what I want? Then I want Amanda Nunes for the whole year to be eating cupcakes and bonbons and packing on weight.
Kayla doesn't cut any weight.
I want her to be packing on weight. I want her to come out with like this little muffin top coming over and just kind of whatever, not really in shape, just enough to get up there and knock them the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because that's the baddest woman on the planet. Probably the baddest fighter on the planet.
Yeah, a case could be made.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the only one that you can argue against it, in my opinion, is John Juice Jones. Outside of that, it's Amanda Nunes, in my opinion. I'm not saying the greatest ever yet. It's too early for that. But right now, active fighters, she's just, yeah. And the way she's done it, she's left no doubt. No doubt.
I would say when Amanda goes into fight at 145, she's already heavier than Kayla is. Kayla,
I don't know. We'd have to see. I don't think because I think Amanda walks around at between 145 and 150, depending on where she's at and if she's in a camp. I think in a camp she's under 145 because I don't think she likes to cut a whole lot.
Yeah.
So no, I bet they're still separated by about 15 or 20 pounds most of the time. And that's the other thing. And Kayla is not just like a thick 155. She's cutting down to 155. No, she only cuts a couple of pounds because she hates cutting weight. But she's solid. You know, she's a solid 155. She's not chunky.
She's an Olympian. I mean, she's a world class judo fighter.
I thought you were gonna say juice. Well, anyway, all right, man. So I think that about wraps it up, man. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think I'm good.
No. Are we gonna try to? So I know we're gonna watch the fights. We're gonna check those out here Saturday night. We're gonna try to do something Sunday and wrap shit up. I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about, unless the fights suck, and then we'll just do nothing.
Well, yeah, we're definitely gonna watch the fights.
Yeah,
for sure.
Maybe either that night or the next day we'll throw something up online too.
Yeah,
look for something the next week.
Something quick.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I'm Aaron.
Dave.
And we'll see you next time.